The easiest way to thread beads onto wire is simply to pick them up by hand and thread them on like so. So I normally just take 1 or 2 beads at a time. You can literally do it 1 bead at a time, but I found I can grab a few. As you can see, this is quite easy, but it's also very time consuming. So I'm going to demonstrate a couple of other techniques that should be a little quicker for you. The second technique is one which I'm afraid I haven't mastered, so please forgive the bad demonstration. I think this is quite commonly used by beads workers in Venice, and it can work really well if it's done properly. The idea is to sit with a bowl of beads, to push the wire in to the bowl and pick up beads coming out. As you can see, I'm lucky to pick up 1 or 2 at a time, but I have watched professionals do this and they're picking up 4, 5, 6 at a time, working at a much faster rate, and then it can be a lot quicker than stringing by hand. The third method for stringing beads is the one that I would recommend, and certainly if you're planning on doing a lot of French beading, it's worth investing in one of these. This is a bead spinner. It strings the beads by using centrifugal force in the bowl. So you want to fill up the bowl with your beads. I would recommend using at least 20 to 30 grams. The more beads are in the bowl, the more easily this is going to work. You're going to take the end of your wire and you're going to form it around into a loop, something like that. And you're simply going to put this looped end into the bowl of beads and start spinning. Now the trick is to keep the wire fairly near the top of the beads, don't plunge it too far down into them. And as you'll see, the beads just thread themselves onto the wire as we go. When you've got a few beads on there, just stop spinning and push them down the wire and carry on with the next group. Now this technique can take a little bit of difficulty to master in the first place, so if you find that the beads aren't coming onto the wire, then the first thing to do is to try repositioning the wire in the bowl. That may help. If that's not working, then just take the wire out of the bowl and try reshaping the hook. If you have a hook that's not very far bent over, then the beads are going to struggle. Equally, if you bend the hook too far, like that, the beads will also struggle. So try and aim for something roughly this shape, and basically just keep experimenting until you finally find success. Whichever method of stringing you've used, once the beads are onto the wire, you want to make sure that they're not going to fall off again. To do this, we're going to do a technique called knotting the end. It's very simple. Just straighten out the wire, form the end of it into a loop. It doesn't matter what size, and it doesn't matter if it's not neat, because you'll cut it off when you've finished. Once you've got the loop, just hold it in place with your finger and thumb. Use the other hand to twist a couple of times, and there we go. We've got a knot and the beads won't fall off.